The Fiat 500 is one of the most recognisable and stylish city cars of the last decade. But now Fiat is moving into the future with a fully electric model. Crucially, it's still as cool looking as ever before, and it comes with two different battery options. Today we're going to show you through all the various different features inside and out, take it for a drive and let you know what we think of it. You'll find everything you need to know about the Fiat 500 electric on our website dcev.ie, including models for sale and everything you need to know about making the switch to going electric. You'll also find us on all of the usual social channels. Even though this is an all-new design, it very much sticks to that traditional Fiat 500 shape that has been so successful in its predecessor. There are some nice new features on this model. The headlights are bisected by the bonnet line and the indicators jut out from the front wing here. There's a chrome strip that runs all the way along the side, and this time the door handles actually sit flush in with the bodywork, meaning you just reach in to open the door. Then further along the side, on this range chopping model, which is called La Prima, you've got a small detail badge here, and around the rear there's still that short back end, and the traditional hatchback remains. It lifts up quite easily, gives you good access to the boot, but this is still only 185 litres of boot space, meaning it's not going to be great for doing very long journeys when you're going to have lots of luggage. Interior space is quite good in the Fiat 500. There's a degree of adjustability from the driver's seat. It goes quite the way back if you do need that, and the steering column is also adjustable for reach or rake, so there's a good amount of adjustment there to find a suitable driving position. There's additional free space here between the front seats because there's no traditional transmission tunnel or engine bulkhead, and you can also fold out this additional cup holder that pops down from the center console. That's quite useful. The rest of that center console includes an armrest in this model, which is adjustable, and there's also some storage in here between the front seats, including a 12-volt power socket and USB-A charge port. The handbrake is here, the volume control, and the different E-modes which allow you to go between normal, range and Sherpa mode. There isn't a gear selector as such. Instead you have these 4 buttons on the front of the dashboard. You've got park, reverse, neutral and drive. Above those gear buttons is a wireless charging pad on this model, and as a nice little Easter egg, it includes a silhouette of the city of Torino. There's another USB-A charge port here, and then you have all of the touch controls for the climate control setting, temperature, fan speed and demisting your windows. I like that they're physical buttons, makes it much easier to use. Above that again, you've got your hazard lights and your central locking switch, and then you have this large touchscreen display which appears to be floating. It's really nice to use. It has a glossy finish to it. It looks crisp, it looks sharp, it reacts very well to your inputs. The native infotainment system is reasonably good to use, but the fact that you've got wireless Apple CarPlay on this car makes it much easier to have your phone synced with the car and then use that as your main point of contact for all of the infotainment system. There's also a digital instrument display in front of the driver. This has a lot of information in it. It gives you everything you need to know, including the state of your battery, your speed, all of your trip computer information. So it's very easy to use that. And then you have this nice 2-spoke steering wheel. Again, all of the controls, they sit flush with the steering wheel, but they have a glossy feel to them. It's very nice, very easy to use. And on the back of the steering wheel, you have 2 additional toggle controls, which is for volume or skipping through different music tracks. It's all nice, easy to use, and most importantly, the driving position is actually quite good. You sit relatively high, you've got a good field of visibility out here. I do think that this whole mirror unit does come down a little bit too low. That can obstruct certain parts of your vision depending on where you're sitting, and just the lower section of the A-pillar is a little bit on the wide side, so again that can potentially block some things. But generally for a small city car, there's a good amount of visibility. The bonnet's not particularly long, so it's very easy to nudge into a space if you need to. This particular model is equipped with a nice big sunroof, but you can also have the Fiat 500 as a cabriolet, where the entire center section of the roof will retract and fold down on top of the boot. The only thing to remember with that is that when that's down, does slightly limit your rearward visibility, and the actual boot hinges lower down, so it's not a full hatchback like you get with this model. Another nice feature you'll notice is that this has push button releases for the doors. So you just need to press the button and it will electronically pop the door. Fear not though, because there is a manual release further down just in case that gives you any trouble. When you look into the door handle to pull it shut, you'll also see that there is a Made in Torino sign and a little picture of the original Fiat Cinquecento. Now there are two rear seats in the back, but if I'm honest, these really are token seats. It's best to consider it more for ideally just for kids or somewhere to throw your coat or your bag. As you might expect from an electric city car, the Fiat 500 electric has loads of low down punch and torque. So off the line, it will accelerate very quickly up to 30 kilometers an hour. There are 3 different driving modes to choose from: the default normal mode, and range, and then Sherpa. Now those latter 2 will ensure that you get the maximum amount of driving range from the battery. So depending on which one you choose, the level of regenerative braking will increase. What that means is when you lift off the accelerator pedal, the car will slow down, in the case of the Sherpa mode, quite severely. So it does give you that one pedal driving feel that so many people with electric cars really enjoy. What that means is as you come up to the traffic lights like so, you don't have to use the brake pedal to slow down. You just simply lift off the accelerator pedal, the car slows itself down, and as it does that, it's generating electricity back into the battery to help contribute to having a couple of more kilometers on every charge. Now, once you're up and moving, it's very quiet, it's nice and smooth. The suspension is a little bit on the firm side, but it's enough that you could live with on a daily basis. Going over speed humps is a little bit more harsh, and obviously having such a short wheelbase means that you do notice them that bit more. It's got quite a good amount of pickup, so as you accelerate, it does get up to speed nice and quickly, and it does it pretty smoothly too. Now, in terms of consumption, it does tend to use a bit more energy than we would like. So far, it's been returning an average of 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which, considering it's only got a 42 kilowatt hour battery, means that it is using up a fair bit of energy on the go. Now, if you're primarily driving just in the city and you're driving using the Sherpa mode, you will see that figure most likely decrease. But again, the thing with electric vehicles is that it can vary quite a lot depending on how you're using these cars. If you're going to be doing a lot of motorway driving, this isn't going to be the car for you. This is ideal for those living in an urban setting. They're maybe just doing a short commute or lots of frequent short journeys, and those journeys are situations where the speed isn't all that high. In terms of its direct rivals, I do think that the suspension setup in this is a little bit sweeter than what you get in the Renault Zoe, and overall it feels a little bit more solid than the French electric car. But then again, you've also got cars like the Mini, which aren't a great deal more expensive than this, but ride and drive with a far higher quality than what the Fiat has. There is a lot of good electric cars in this relatively compact size segment, but the Fiat just has a lot of charm about it, and that charm and that character does help compensate for some of the shortcomings. Yes, I'd like if it was a little bit more efficient, but this is, after all, a small, fun city car, and in that sense, I'm willing to forgive it. It's good fun to drive. I love how it looks. It's a great design, and kudos to Fiat for keeping that charm into an electric vehicle. So that's our review of the Fiat 500 electric. It is a stylish city car, but it's not lacking in substance either. To find out more about this car, do visit our website, dcev.ie, and don't forget to follow us on all the usual social channels.